Hi, Jadison. So tell me about your work on the ship this week.
Oh, hi, my friend. So yeah, it was a really tough week. So we were doing a lot of jobs on the ship. I would say terrible ones.
In what way was it terrible? Something worse than usual?
Yeah, we had to remove some uh, outer shell of the ship, the bulkhead outside of the ship, because the thickness was too thin. So we had to remove and put a new one back. But the area that we were working it was so small and very hard to work. And it was the sewage tank. So you
The
can imagine
sewage
how,
tank.
yeah,
Oh, no.
you can imagine how the smell was.
And so is the reason that that repair has to be done, is that because of the toxic sewage that has affected the metal, or it's just old age?
Uh, both. But I would say that because this tank it was because of the toxic like fluids because it was sewage tank because there were two different tanks beside each side and they were pretty good. But this one it was completely with a lot of corrosion.
And so,
So, and yeah, we had to do inspection to measure the thickness. There is a get to do this. So when the inspector said, no, we have to replace some areas of the plate.
and so the new plate, is it thicker than the old plate?
No, it's the same thickness. What we do because of the corrosion, the thickness is getting thin. So normally the plate should be 9.5 millimeters, and after the measurement, it was 5.5 or less than 6. So we had 3 millimeters the uh, under of the right measurement or the right calibration.
And so the new metal, will it have some galvanized or anything to protect it from the corrosion? Or
Yes, we have to paint. We use the first coat we called prime, and then we use the normal paint. Yes, but sometimes it's 2 to 3 coats. First of all, prime it's a anti-corrosion paint, and then use the normal paint, the color of the customer want to be painted.
So the eventual thickness is how much again?
9.5.
9.5. And so in the areas next to the sewage tank, you still had to replace those even though the thickness was not so bad?
No, I don't think so. Only the areas that it was not good. Yeah, both tanks beside uh, were of oil, so that's why they were cautious about it to not have like to mix sewage with oil. It was not a good idea.
And so the oil, is oil used for the ship's engines?
Yes, it is. So they have this place to keep the oils. Yeah, they use for everything that they need.
And are these tanks all on the bottom of the ship?
Yes, normally they are beside yes, beside of the ship on the outside area.
But on the bottom?
Yes, on the bottom. It's close to the engineer room. It's the same level of the engineer room. Begins on the bottom, going up to the main deck.
I see. So the
Yes.
engine room is quite close to where you were working?
Yeah, it is. So the main entrance to go to this tank was through the engineer room. That's why it was so hard to work in there. Too many noisy. The space to work and to walk through it was very hard.
And so the whole ship is in dry dock. It's completely out of the water?
So we started the job in the dry dock because we had to remove the plate, and the plate was under the sea level line. So, and after we replace the outside plate, we have to do some repairs inside. So, and the boat was not in the dry dock anymore, it was on the water. So, and so I had to overnight on the boat to do these inside areas repairs. So we were with 8 guys doing welding repairs and also painting.
So how big a piece of metal did you have to replace for the sewage tank?
Well, the outside plate was 2 meters to 2 meters long to 1.8, yeah, 1 meter and 800 wide. The outside plate, and the inside was smaller, but was like the frames was 1 meter by 800 millimeters.
So when you say the frames,
4 plates inside and 1 outside.
You're saying the frames, that's what supports the wall of the ship from the inside so it doesn't collapse?
Yes, it is.
And so how do you join the big patch into the good metal on the side of the ship? How do you do a patch on a ship? That's really complicated.
Well, depends on, we have some techniques. We cut the plate and then use small plates that we call bridge. So it's like a U shape. So when we put the plate there, and then we tack these small plates called bridge to.
How do you spell that? Bridge.
So the normal bridge.
Oh, bridge. Bridge.
Yeah, the same, the normal. So you have braids and dogs. Dogs is a L-shaped plate that we use like some wedges and hammer to align the plate. So, and also we have to put eye lifting point and using chain blocks to lift the plate from the ground. Is a little bit complex job to do.
And who measures the repair job? Because first you have to cut out the old stuff, right? And then put the new.
Yes.
So who decides how much of the old piece to cut out?
Well, the inspector comes and do the measuring and say, oh, all this area here is not good. So, and then a guy of the ship come together and he decides which area he wants to replace or not. So we only can do anything with his authorization.
And how does he check the thickness of the plate?
There is a gadget that measure the thickness.
That
so
measures,
it's like measures the thickness of the plate.
The thickness, yeah?
Yes.
And so to measure the thickness, do you have to have like the edge visible, or can you measure it like using some kind of laser or X-ray system?
So it's like a ultrasound. So you put one edge of your device on the plate, and once you are moving, so on your display shows the thickness of the plate.
Wow.
Yes.
And once you've decided to cut out how much to cut out, then it must be really important to measure correctly so that the new plate fits almost perfectly into the hole.
Well, normally we just cut first, and after we cut, we start to measure, because we can really know exactly the length and the width of the plate. But
you mean width, not width. Width.
Yeah, width. Yeah, right, width.
and so do you try to cut out a perfectly square area so you have an easier job to measure the new piece?
Well, normally this is the easiest way to do, but sometimes we have to cut like a triangle shape or L shape according with what they decide to cut out. So we have only to do what they want us to do.
And in this case, was it a exact rectangle or a strange shape you had to cut?
It was a strange shape. So and inside, outside is not the worst part because it's all open. We have space to work and to use the chain blocks and everything. But inside is the hard part because the space is closer and is smaller. So sometimes only one person can be inside, and also to put the plates inside is worse. To put all the gear to work, we need air supply, a lot of different stuff. So when we are work inside, after installing the outside plate is the worst part because it's hotter, the space is smaller, everything's gonna be complicated. So even if someone get you inside, so not start to feel bad, is hard to rescue this person.
Wow. And so
Yeah.
when the outside plate is done, then the ship can go out of the dry dock and then you can work on the inside while it's sitting in the water.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes, you can do
so
it.
how do you test the repair job before it goes in the water? You don't want the whole ship to sink.
Yeah, there are different types of NDT, non-destructive tests. So there are different types, like this one, like we call ultrasound. There is this one. There's one we call penetration liquid. So you use water and two different sprays that shows if you have any defectives on your weld or not. There are different types of non-destructive tests that you can do.
In this case, did you have any errors? Did you have to redo anything after you tested?
Yes, inside we have two areas. That's why I have to go on board while the ship was on the water, and also have to overnight there because of these two repairs.
But when you do the repair on the outside, you test that before the ship goes out of the dry dock?
Yeah. So all the outside area was good. The two areas that we had to do the repairs was inside of the tank on the frames, the plates who support the outside plate.
So the frames, I'll be interested to see the photograph, as I'm picturing you have a plate, and then you have a frame
Yes.
that join the plate.
Yes.
So you're not doing any plates on the inside, you're just doing the connection of the frame and the new plate, is that right?
Yes, that's it.
And that's all with welding too, no bolts?
No, only weld.
Wow. And each frame is what's the dimensions of the frame strut?
So it was around 1 meter width.
1 meter.
Yeah. And 2 meters high.
And does the strut go from one side of the ship all the way to the other side of the ship?
No, not to the other side of the ship, just to the next bulkhead. So that's why it was just 1 meter. So we have one bulkhead here, one plate, and another one this side. So in this frame, just join these two areas, because the other side is another area, like engineer room or the area, another tank.
So how many bulkheads across the whole width of the ship?
Oh, man, I'm not sure. Depends on the size of the ship. So there are heaps.
And I guess down the bottom where it's narrow, there's less, and then as you go up, there are more bulkheads?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're finished with that ship?
Yes, we're done.
And now what's your next job on Monday?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.